The South African Council for Natural Scientific Professions is celebrating 20 years in existence. Recently, its focus has been on getting more women involved and interested in science, with a number of initiatives aimed at attracting girls from a young age. For more on this now, I am joined by the Council CEO, Nompumelelo Oboko, who joins us virtually from Pretoria. Nompumelelo, thank you so much for your time this evening. Just as a foundation for our discussion, explain to those of us who perhaps are not scientists, like many journalists aren't, who exactly are we referring to when you speak about a natural scientist, and why is it important for them to be registered with your council?
Now, thank you very much, Marcel, for this opportunity and really for inviting us to the program or the news channel this evening. We really appreciate this because really we need to communicate about science. We need to communicate about the role and the contribution of science in societal development and economic growth. So really our natural scientists, they're playing a very pivotal role in ensuring that the discoveries that they're making, either in the laboratory, if it is agriculture, for example, in the field, these are really helping us in the areas of food security from an agricultural perspective. And in other areas, for example, now that we are looking at issues of energy, this is where our scientists are really coming up with some of this knowledge that is generated either from their research, and therefore in other cases, then it is taken through and developed further and commercialized so that as a society, we can derive benefit from the scientific endeavors that are coming from our scientists. So as a council, which is the South African Council for the Natural Scientific Profession, we are a regulatory body. We register and we regulate the natural scientist. And this is as per our mandate that comes from the Natural Scientific Professions Act 27 of 2003. And as a council, we report to the Department of Science and Innovation, which is under the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, Dr. Blade Nzimande. So what we do then is to register, to regulate, as well as to enable these scientists so that they can really provide high standards of services, but also, ensure that they conduct themselves in an ethical and professionally excellent manner as they provide, services in various fields of practice. We start with agriculture, botany, zoology. So the 26 fields of practice that are under our purview, that is where we then ensure that our scientists, they derive benefits and they can also contribute to the development of this country, understanding the various issues and challenges that we are facing as a country, also as a region, as a continent.
A large part of what your organization does is trying to encourage young people to take an interest in your sphere of natural science, with a specific focus on young women and girls. What, in your experience, has been the obstacle in trying to get more young people hooked on it? Is it because they don't see the professions that come out of this industry as sexy enough or fashionable enough? Because the issues that you've spoken about are issues that are only going to become more and more important as we step further into the future. What, for you think, is the problem in trying to get young people more interested in your world?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for that question. We've realized that there's a huge gap and that we need to close. And there's still a lot of work that still need to be done, with girls, with women in sciences. They are underrepresented in many of the areas of the sciences. And as a council, as part of our strategic objective, we became more intentional and deliberate to ensure that we transform. But not only that, we also excite our young people, starting from the rural areas. We've got quite a number of outreach programs where we are reaching out to the young people, using day-to-day challenges that they're facing in their societies and ensuring that they understand how they can actually help, with solving some of those challenges through science, technology, and innovation. So these are, good experiments that we will bring to them. And now that we're talking about the fourth industrial revolution, to excite them, to show that it's not about, going to the field and being a farmer. Science is broader than that, and they need to really participate and be excited about the future of this country and what role they will play to shape it and ensure that they, play a much more significant role and they shape also their career perspectives.
You know, we came out of a time now when we were in lockdown during COVID where there were a lot of scientists and academics that we would never have heard of if it wasn't because of COVID. And it became quite well known. And I often think that one of the positives out of that is that young people being stuck at home, watching us in the news business, speak to these academics and scientists every day, perhaps got hooked by the science bug because of what they saw, the work, the life-saving and life-changing work that these scientists were doing every day, specifically in South Africa, where we really led the field. I think of your story. You've been in agricultural research and focusing on innovation systems for around 20 years or so. What first hooked you as a young person to go into this industry or this part of science, and what do you still see yourself achieving? Perhaps telling those stories will help get the interest of young people.
Yes, indeed, that is true. We need more role models, women in science, you know, people who our young people can look up to. I come also, you know, as my background from Mamelodi, which is a township here in Pretoria. So having grown in, you know, in that township, within that environment, for me, what was important really, looking at my situation, was to say, how really do I change my narrative, you know, against all odds? How then do I move out of the situation and also plow back to the community? Because that is very important. We still have quite a number of young people who need us to hold their hands, to mentor them, to shape them to be the future leaders. So that is really a call for all of us, really, to come back to our townships, to our rural communities, and assist in various developmental projects. So having said that, mine really, I think with the God-given talent and really liking the mathematics, physics, and science, I excelled. But having a lack of, you know, career guidance, I started doing a BSc. And of course, that was in KwaZulu-Natal. And then I came back to Pretoria for my honors as well as MSc. And then I got a scholarship to study for a PhD at the University of Cambridge. And I was fortunate as well to stay on for a postdoc. But then I came back and then continued to work at the Agricultural Research Council, taking the work that we're doing in the laboratory and applying in the field, working with our small-scale farmers to ensure that these technologies that we're developing in the field, we can therefore transfer them so that the farmers can therefore develop their crops, understanding now that we are faced with issues of climate change. We are a country that is drought-prone, so they need technologies that can help them really improve crop productivity. So these are some of the examples which we as scientists, you know, we take them from the lab and we ensure that they are transferable and they make sense and they can transform our society and grow the economy.
Before I let you go, somebody might be watching right now and they want to find out more about the careers that are on offer. If they study natural sciences, where can they get a hold of your organization and find out more?
Yes, definitely. If they can really get in touch with us, our website, SACNAS, www.co.za. And also we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we are on LinkedIn. We participate in a number of other forums, you know, within, even at the township level, science engagements. We've got quite a number of those where we engage with the universities. But beyond that, really, let us also use the TikTok as scientists to ensure that we excite our young people. Yes, we are leveraging on technology now, so we need to also use those platforms where we can find the young people. So there will be a challenge at some point where as SACNAS, we are calling on all scientists to wear our lab coats, to be in the labs or in the fields, and do the TikTok dance. Thank you.
Well, please let us know when you do it, because I think that will make for some fantastic viewing and really get young people's attention. The CEO of the South African Council for Natural Scientific Professions, Nompumelelo Oboko, a young woman from Mamelodi, went on to get a PhD in plant biotechnology from the University of Cambridge. And the rest, as they say, is history, doing very important research work in agriculture and the research space where we really need it most as as we head into a tough future in that regard. Thank you so much for your time this evening. We really do appreciate it. The South African Council for Natural Scientific Professions. Look them up on the internet, or as she says, on the TikTok to find out more.